Insta360 GO Ultra and the Oakley Meta Vanguard. Which is the better POV camera? Specs wise, the GO Ultra should easily win this matchup. It has a 1/1.28 inch sensor that can shoot 50 megapixel stills and film up to 4K, while the Vanguards can only shoot 12 megapixel stills and shoot video up to 3K. But I've used so many different cameras, from tiny thumb-sized cameras to full-frame cameras, and I've learned that image quality isn't everything, especially for POV shots where convenience will often beat resolution. Now I realize these are different tools for different jobs, but they both share one major strength, and that's incredible POV shots. So I wanted to put these two against each other in a few different categories to see which is the better POV cam. For the sake of these comparisons, I'm gonna have the GO Ultra mounted on my head with either the hat clip or the headband, so it's gonna sit just above the camera of the Vanguards. Alright, so I know I said image quality isn't everything, so let's go ahead and start off with image quality. This is easily going to be a win for the GO Ultra, but that doesn't mean that the footage out of the Vanguards is bad. It honestly does look good, and if it wasn't side by side against footage from an actual camera, it would be more than good enough for 90% of what you'd ever post online. And that's the catch. Once you see the dynamic range and color depth of the GO Ultra, the Vanguards start to look like a very high-end toy rather than a professional storyteller. Also, the GO Ultra can film up to 4K 60 while the Vanguards shoot at 3K 30. It can do 60 FPS but at 1080p, but then at 1080p, the GO Ultra can film all the way up to 240 frames per second. There isn't much argument here, the GO Ultra wins this easily. But now let's check out another important topic for POV shots, stabilization. The Vanguards have adjustable electronic image stabilization with 4 settings: low, medium, high, and auto. The catch is that if you shoot in 3K or 1080p at 60 frames per second, you're limited to the medium setting. The setting is only adjustable when filming at 1080p at 30 frames per second. It also has basic horizon leveling. It's designed to keep your head level footage stable, but you can't tilt your head too far or the footage will tilt with you. The GO Ultra has what Insta360 calls flow state stabilization, which is one of the most advanced and trusted stabilization systems in an action camera. It uses a 6-axis gyroscope with its flow state stabilization system, which uses cropping to smooth out shake and motion. It also has 3 levels: low, standard, and high. Just like the Vanguard, the GO Ultra has a tilt fix that applies up to 10 degrees of horizon leveling, but it can take it even further as it supports full 360-degree horizon lock. So you can fully rotate the camera around and still keep the horizon level. I was going to do some backflips to show you how well these do with stabilization, but I didn't want to look like I was showing off. Let's go with that. Even without my Olympic standard flips, you can see that the GO Ultra wins here. Now let's check out how well these cameras do at night. Yeah, not very good. But that's actually typical for small cameras. Even bigger cameras will struggle in low light too. It's not terrible, but they both obviously struggle in low light. Meta doesn't give the exact specs of the sensor size in the Vanguards, but I can't imagine that it's going to be better or even equal to the 1/1.28 inch sensor in the GO Ultra. When there's some street light, you can see that the GO Ultra has more detail in the image. That's something you'll only really notice again when you have footage side by side like this. I feel like the footage here is interchangeable. I could do a blind test with the footage and most people would probably assume that they were all shot on the same device. For comparison's sake, neither is really great in low light. I can't give this category to either of them. I will say though that for the experience of capturing low light footage, the GO Ultra wins. Walking around in the darkness with the Vanguards on is almost like walking around with a blindfold. I know they have low light lenses that are supposed to be coming out, so that might help, but as they are, they're still sunglasses. Alright, next let's talk about video orientation. Along with the Vanguards, I use my Meta glasses to take photos and videos pretty much every day since they're right there on my face. It's just so quick and easy to take a photo or video no matter what I'm doing. I don't even have to physically press anything, I can just tell my glasses to do it. Hey Meta, take a video. My gripe is that they only shoot in 3x4 vertical. I know these were designed to maximize the usage with the Meta ecosystem, so for Facebook and Instagram, but not being able to film horizontally is a huge con with their cameras. Yes, it does still capture footage pretty wide, but for a true POV view, you want to see the whole scene. The GO Ultra really excels in this because it can film vertically and horizontally at the same time. You can orient the camera vertically or horizontally to film of course, but you can also just set the camera to free frame mode and choose your orientation in post. The 2 ways to get horizontal footage out of the Vanguards is to take a massive crop out of the native vertical sensor. Or you could tilt your head like this when you film, technically it does work. Easy win here again for the GO Ultra. Now let's take a look at a category that the Vanguards have a better chance in: microphones. A huge flex in the Vanguards is its 5 mic array. Meta put 2 mics in the frame towards the arm and 3 more in the nose bridge area. It does a great job at picking up your voice, as well as every sniffle in the winter.
I'm out of shape.
The audio out of here is really good. You get a true spatial, directional audio out of these. The downside is that there's no way to use an external mic with them. The Go Ultra has 2 mics, and while it does still sound good, with the mics on the Vanguard so close to your mouth, the audio out of it is just better. I guess technically you could mount the Go Ultra closer to your nose. That doesn't look awkward. The advantage of the Go Ultra though is that you can connect external mics to it via Bluetooth or USB-C. This will drastically improve your audio with the camera. Which is true, but in that sense, I could carry a standalone recorder for the Vanguards and then sync the audio in post. So for the microphone audio straight out of the device, the Vanguards finally get a win. Now let's check out the photo capabilities of these cameras. Let's have a little bit more fun this time and do some blind tests. So the Go Ultra has the advantage here. It's able to take 50 megapixel stills versus the 12 megapixels out of the Vanguards. In daylight shots, it's a decent matchup, but once you zoom in, the Go Ultra shows its advantage. The Go Ultra supports DNG RAW format, so you can edit the image in Lightroom and pull details out of the clouds and shadows. The Vanguards capture JPEGs only, and while Meta AI does a great job with HDR, what you see is what you get. You can't recover a bad exposure as easily. With the Go Ultra, you're also able to frame your shot. The screen on the Action Pod lets you make sure that what you're trying to capture is centered in the frame. With the Vanguards, generally what you're looking at is what you're capturing. It helps that the camera on these glasses are right in the center of your face, but unless you export the pictures onto the Meta AI app, you can't be 100% certain that you took the picture that you wanted. For photos, the Go Ultra wins here. I know it seems like the Go Ultra is running away with this, but stay with me. Let's just jump into the next category, mounting options. The Go Ultra is the mount anywhere camera. There's a ton of accessories for this thing, so you can literally mount the camera anywhere. This video is about the best POV camera though, and the Go Ultra still has multiple ways to mount it onto your body. The main way is easily with the magnetic lanyard that you hang around your neck. You just throw it on and it magnetically attaches. For head mounts, it comes with a hat clip that you can attach to the brim of a hat. I personally don't like the camera up here, so I actually attach it to the back of my hats and then just flip it around when I want to film something. There's also a headband attachment that uses the same hat clip. This is the mount that I use for most of my comparison shots. The Vanguards is simple. You are the mount. This is a true POV camera, and you don't need to fumble around with any additional accessories. That being said, you can't get third-person shots. You can't stick your glasses to a skateboard to get cool wheel-level shots. Technically, I guess you can, but you're really not going to use it this way. With the Vanguards though, no one is really going to give you a weird look when you have them on. They are noticeable glasses, but they still generally look like regular sunglasses. The Go Ultra, as small as it is nowhere near as discreet as the Vanguards, especially when you need to mount it onto your head for POV shots. The weight is definitely noticeable too, especially when you're running. Okay, overall, it's obvious the Go Ultra is a mount anywhere camera, but for POV shots, the Vanguards is the better choice. I'm giving this to the Vanguards because it's just so easy to use. Put it on and you're ready to head out and start filming. With the Go Ultra, you have to combine accessories to get the same POV shots as the Vanguards, and since this is a best POV camera video, the simplicity of the Vanguards is a better choice. Now let's check out durability. The Vanguards offer IP67 protection. The entire unit is dust tight and can survive immersion in up to 1 meter of water. The Go Ultra is rated IPX8. It's fully submersible up to 10 meters. However, that's just for the camera unit. The Action Pod is only IPX4. You're obviously not going to mount the Action Pod on your head for POV shots, I hope, but you do need it in order to charge the Go Ultra. As for impact resistance, it's almost embarrassing how many times I've dropped the Go Ultra, but even then, it still works perfectly fine. It has a replaceable lens guard in case you scratch or damage it. It's an action camera, it's designed to take bumps. And me. The Vanguard is more fragile. Don't get me wrong, it's a rugged piece of eyewear that's meant to be used for action sports like snowboarding and surfing. But if you break a temple, it's over. Even to a lesser extreme, if you scratch the main lenses on these, you can replace them, but at the cost of $85. If you scratch the lens on the camera, yeah, there's no repairing that. I don't do extreme stuff where I can possibly break my glasses. I do snowboard, but that's just like a few times out of the year. Most of the time, I'm going to be using these for when I'm out running, biking, or skateboarding, and I feel like that's what a lot of people getting these are going to be using them for too. Even though the Vanguards have a slightly lower ingress protection rating at IP67, I don't have to worry about them when it starts to rain or if I drop them in the snow. Same with the Go Ultra, but only for the camera. I need to make sure the action pod is stored safe away in these conditions, and because of that, I actually like the Vanguard here for durability. Now let's check out recording limits. We already talked about the resolution and frame rates earlier, but a big factor for these cameras is the recording limits. More so for the Vanguards than for the Go Ultra. The Go Ultra has a micro SD card slot, so how much you can record will depend on how big the memory card you put in there. Most likely you're going to choose a decent sized card like 128 or 256 gigabytes. Even if you're trying to save some money and choose a 64 gig card, you'll still get a decent amount of footage, easily more than the 32 gigs of internal storage that the Vanguards are locked into. If you fill it up, you'll have to sync the glasses to your phone to clear up space. You can't just swap memory cards real quick. It can hold roughly 80 to 103 minute clips though, which is a good amount, but that's also the thing. The max recording limit on the Vanguards is 3 minutes. Once it stops, you'll have to hit record again to record another 3 minutes. With the Go Ultra, you can hit record once, and just let it run until the battery dies or the storage fills up. The Vanguard does have a neat trick though if you pair them with the Garmin device. I unfortunately don't have one to show you, but let me briefly talk about the auto capture feature in the Vanguards. You can turn on auto capture on the glasses to record a clip every time you hit a specific milestone. Then at the end of your ride, Meta AI will stick these auto captures into a highlight reel with your stats, speed, distance, heart rate, overlaid onto the footage. This makes the Vanguards a highlight machine. As awesome as that feature is, that 3-minute recording limit is a killer. I have to give this to the Go Ultra because it's not going to pull the plug on you when you're in the middle of a roller coaster ride. This happened to me on my regular Ray-Ban Metas when I was in Shanghai Disney. So I think points-wise, the Go Ultra wins. I'm not keeping track honestly. Every category can't be weighed equally because some things matter more than others. If you never plan on taking photos with either of these cameras, that point is useless. Like I said in the very beginning, both of these are different tools for different jobs. Generally, the Go Ultra is a better POV camera, there's no denying that. But if you're mainly wanting to capture footage during your run or you're out cycling, the Vanguards are easily the better choice, especially if you don't want to have to carry extra accessories with you. What's even better about the Vanguards is that it's not just a camera. You can listen to music and podcasts with it on your run, or even ask it questions. Whether or not Meta AI will help you with your question or not is for a different video, but you can do so much more with these glasses than you can do with the Go Ultra. I know for my upcoming trip to Japan, I'm bringing the Go Ultra and leaving the Vanguards behind. Only because I'm bringing the Ray-Ban Meta since I can use them for any situation. I love being able to capture photos and videos whenever I want since these are pretty much always on my face. If you're interested in the Insta360 GO Ultra or the Oakley Meta Vanguards, I have them both linked in the description. Alright, I'm gonna go grab some water. I ran out like 2 categories ago. I could've got up and got more, but that would have been too easy.